Precious soul, listen carefully. On April 20th, something shifts. Not in the sky where everyone can see it, not in the headlines of the world, but in the unseen realm where decisions are written before they become reality. And this is why Archangel Michael says, your life is about to change in a noticeable way, but only if you do not ignore the signs that have already been placed in front of you. This message explains everything. There are moments in history when heaven whispers before it moves. April 20th is not random. It is a spiritual checkpoint, a dividing line, a moment when what has been circling around you finally begins to land. But here is the warning. If you dismiss what has already been shown to you, the shift will pass like wind through open fingers. You have been asking for change, praying for movement, crying in silence for something to break loose. And now the answer stands at your door, but it does not knock loudly. It waits for recognition. Archangel Michael stands as a protector and a messenger of divine alignment. He does not interrupt without reason. When he speaks about a specific day, it is because spiritual timing has matured. Seeds planted in past seasons are now pressing against the soil, ready to rise. But soil must be prepared. Eyes must be open. Look back at the past few weeks. How many coincidences have followed you? How many subtle nudges have you felt? How many dreams, repeated numbers, unexpected conversations or sudden realizations have stirred your spirit? These were not accidents. The signs have already been placed in front of you. The opportunity you almost ignored. The conversation you almost avoided. The idea you brushed off because it felt too bold. The person who reappeared unexpectedly. These are not distractions. They are signals. April 20th marks the moment when those signals either become doors or disappear. Here is the deeper truth. Change is not only about blessing. It is about alignment. Heaven will not force what you are not willing to step into. And this is where many miss their breakthrough. They pray for transformation but hesitate when it requires courage. Archangel Michael is not speaking of a small adjustment. He is speaking of a noticeable shift. Something visible, tangible, something that others will observe and say, "What happened to you?" But the condition is clear. Do not ignore the signs. There is a reason you have been feeling restless. A reason your spirit has felt both uncomfortable and expectant at the same time. It is because you are standing at a spiritual intersection. One road leads to repetition. The other leads to elevation. And the signs are the arrows pointing toward elevation. You thought the discomfort meant something was wrong. In truth, it means something is in him. Patterns that kept you small are losing permission. Cycles that drain you are being exposed. But exposure requires response. April 20th is not magic. It is activation. On that day, clarity increases. What hath been foggy becomes sharper. What hath been hidden becomes obvious. And you will feel a strong inner knowing, almost like a whisper rising from deep within, saying, "Now, this is it." Do not silence that voice, because the greatest regret is not failure. It is hesitation when heaven already gave confirmation. Archangel Michael reveals that some of you have already received 3 confirmations, 3 different moments that carried the same message, just in different forms. Yet you doubted because it did not arrive dramatically. You expected thunder. Instead, you received repetition. Repetition is heaven's way of underlining importance. There is also something else. The relationship dynamic is shifting. Either a connection strengthens because truth is embraced, or it weakens because truth is avoided. You cannot carry both alignment and illusion into the next season. This is why the signs matter. You have sensed that someone around you is not aligned with your growth. Or perhaps you sense that a new connection carries unusual peace. Do not dismiss these discernments. They are part of the preparation. And here is the most powerful part. The change coming is not only external. It is internal authority. A boldness rising inside you that refuses to shrink. When April 20th arrives, you may notice something subtle but powerful. Fear feels smaller. Confidence feels accessible. Decisions feel clearer. That is not coincidence. That is assistance. Archangel Michael's role is protection during transition. And transition always feels uncertain before it feels victorious. But protection has already been assigned. What you must do is respond. So here is the question that determines everything. Will you act when the sign appears again? Because it will appear again. Before April 20th, you will receive one more confirmation. It may come through a conversation, a thought that refuses to leave, or a sudden opportunity. When it happens, do not analyze it to death. Do not wait for unanimous approval. Move with it. Your life is about to change in a noticeable way. But only if you do not ignore what has already been placed in front of you. This is not about luck. It is about obedience to insight. And the clock toward April 20th is already moving. Beloved seeker of truth, something deeper is unfolding behind what you can currently see. April 20th is not simply a date marked on a calendar. It is a spiritual threshold. And thresholds are dangerous places for those who hesitate. Because when you stand at the edge of change, you either step forward into expansion or step back into comfort. There's no standing still. That is the illusion. Archangel Michael is revealing that many of you have been tested quietly. Not with dramatic battles, but with small decisions. Tiny moments where you were asked to trust your discernment instead of your fear. And some of those moments seemed insignificant at the time. But in heaven's strategy, nothing is random. You were being prepared. Preparation often feels like delay. You wondered why progress slowed down, why certain plans did not move as quickly as you hoped, why doors remained closed even though you prayed over them. What you did not realize is that you were being trained to recognize the right door when it finally appeared. Because when April 20th arrives, speed will increase. A same situation that felt stagnant will suddenly gain movement. The same opportunity that seemed distant will come within reach. And the same inner voice you kept questioning will become stronger, clearer, undeniable. But here is the warning Archangel Michael is emphasizing. Do not let familiarity blind you. Sometimes the sign you are waiting for does not look new. It looks like something you have seen before, but this time it feels different. The difference is alignment. The timing is different. The spiritual atmosphere is different. And you are different. There is a shift in your confidence building right now. You may not even fully recognize it yet. But notice how you are less willing to tolerate what drains you. Notice how you are more sensitive to environments that disturb your peace. That sensitivity is not weakness. It is refinement. Heaven is sharpening your awareness. And awareness is the key to April 20th. Archangel Michael is also revealing that some of you will be tempted to dismiss the coming opportunity because it feels too simple. You are expecting something complex, dramatic, or overwhelmingly obvious. But divine alignment often arrives in calm packages. It does not need to shout to be powerful. Think about the signs you have already received. The repeated themes in your thoughts. The subtle confirmations through other people's words. Even this message finding you right now is not accidental. It is another layer of confirmation. Your life is about to change in a noticeable way. Noticeable means visible. It means others will see the difference. They will sense the new authority in your voice. They will observe the clarity in your decisions. They will recognize that you are no longer negotiating with doubt the way you used to. But visibility also attracts attention. This is why courage is required. Because stepping into noticeable change means releasing the version of yourself that needed approval from everyone. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian during this release. Protection surrounds bold obedience. And let this sink in deeply. Ignoring the signs does not stop the timeline. It only postpones your participation in it. The opportunity may still exist, but your position within it can shift. Timing matters. There is something powerful about the days leading up to April 20th. Watch your dreams. Watch spontaneous ideas. Watch unexpected invitations. One of them carries the doorway energy you have been praying for. Do not overthink it. You have been asking for a breakthrough. But breakthrough requires movement. When the moment comes, hesitation will feel heavy. Action will feel lighter than you expect. That is how you will know. And if this message is resonating with you right now, do not keep it to yourself. Share this with someone who hath been sensing change but doubting their intuition. Comment below if you have already noticed signs appearing in your life. Let your voice be part of this spiritual conversation. When you engage, you are declaring that you are ready. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing movement where messages like this continue to prepare and protect you. There is power when we stand in agreement. Something is building. Archangel Michael is not speaking casually. He is alerting you because heaven does not want you distracted at the moment of decision. Distractions will increase as April 20th approaches. Small irritations, minor conflicts, sudden doubts. These are attempts to pull your focus away from clarity. Stay centered. You are closer than you think. And what happens next will confirm everything you have been sensing in silence. Keep listening. The next revelation will uncover why this date has been marked specifically for you. Continue. Faithful heart, what you are about to understand will remove the confusion that has surrounded you for months. April 20th is not only a date of change. It is a moment of exposure. Not exposure in a fearful sense, but exposure of truth. Archangel Michael reveals that hidden patterns are coming into the light. The things you sensed but could not prove. The feelings you carried but could not explain. The quiet discomfort you ignored because you wanted peace at any cost. All of it rises now. This is why the signs were placed in front of you early. Heaven never exposes without first whispering. You were given hints. Subtle discomfort in certain environments. A strange pause in conversations that once flowed easily. An inner tightening when you considered staying the same. These were signals preparing your spirit for clarity. On April 20th, clarity sharpens. For some, it will come through a direct conversation. For others, through a sudden realization that feels like scales falling from your eyes. You will look at a situation and think, how did I not see this before? But do not shame yourself for past blindness. Growth requires stages. You had to be ready to see it. Archangel Michael stands with a sword of discernment. Not to harm, but to separate truth from illusion. There has been an illusion operating in your life. An illusion that you had to settle. That you had to shrink. That you had to tolerate uncertainty. That illusion is breaking. And here is the deeper layer. Some of you have been living beneath your spiritual authority because you feared disrupting comfort. You felt the urge to speak, to move, to shift direction, but you silenced yourself to maintain stability. Yet stability without alignment becomes a silent trap. April 20th is the release point. The change coming is noticeable because it affects your posture, the way you carry yourself, the way you respond to pressure, the way you choose environments. You are stepping into internal agreement with who you were meant to be. And once internal agreement happens, external movement follows quickly. There is also a financial work career-related adjustment for many listening. An opportunity that seemed unrealistic begins to feel attainable, or a current path begins to feel too small. This is not dissatisfaction, it is expansion knocking. But remember the condition. Do not ignore the signs. One of the signs you have been given is repetition. A particular idea keeps returning. A specific location, person, or decision keeps resurfacing. You tried to distract yourself from it, yet it returns. That persistence is not random. It is invitation. Archangel Michael warns that hesitation now would not be harmless. It would delay momentum that has been building for months. You prayed for movement, and heaven arranged it. Now participation is required. There is also healing attached to this shift. Emotional healing. The release of an old narrative about yourself. You have carried a quiet belief that you are always the one who adjusts, the one who compromises, the one who waits. That belief dissolves on April 20th. You are not called to always adjust. You are called to align. And alignment sometimes requires uncomfortable honesty. If someone around you has been misaligned with your growth, the truth will surface. It may not be dramatic. It may be subtle but undeniable. A conversation that reveals intention. A reaction that exposes insecurity. A moment that clarifies everything. Do not turn away from it. This exposure is protection. Archangel Michael's presence signals divine guarding. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into clarity. And clarity feels intense only because confusion lasted so long. Take this seriously. The days before April 20th are sacred preparation days. Pay attention to your intuition. When something feels peaceful, lean toward it. When something feels heavy without reason, step back. Your discernment is being amplified. And when the shift happens, act with confidence. Even if your voice trembles slightly, even if others do not immediately understand, the noticeable change will speak for itself over time. You have been waiting for confirmation. This is it. The signs were not imagination. The restlessness was not random. The repeated thoughts were not anxiety. They were guidance. Now respond. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if this message resonates with your spirit. Lesson code 444 has just been released over your path of clarity. And as this truth settles into your heart, understand something sacred. When you support this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping light reach souls standing at their own April 20th moment. The seeds you sow through super thanks, membership, or even a PayPal offering in the description become oil in the lamp for someone praying for direction tonight. The word says, "Give, and it will be given to you." And this is not ancient text. It is God speaking life into your obedience now. I feel led to say this clearly. When I give, I unlock clarity for someone else. This message about not ignoring the signs is itself a sign for many, and your generosity keeps that river flowing. Do not treat this as a casual donation. Treat it as planting in fertile spiritual ground before harvest breaks open. There is urgency in this hour because souls are standing at crossroads. When you act, you align yourself with the movement of heaven. I declare that those who sow into this work will see noticeable change in their own lives. Press the super thanks button. Join the membership. Use the PayPal link below and release your seed. Move now and watch how heaven responds. Chosen one, there is a reason your spirit feels both anticipation and pressure at the same time. When destiny approaches, it does not always feel gentle. Sometimes it feels like intensity, like something unseen is rearranging the atmosphere around you. Conversations feel different. Your tolerance for confusion decreases. Even your patience with certain routines begins to fade. This is not instability. This is preparation for noticeable change. Archangel Michael reveals that April 20th carries a dividing energy. It separates what has been draining you from what is meant to elevate you. But separation requires awareness. If you cling to what is familiar simply because it is comfortable, you will feel resistance. If you release what no longer aligns, you will feel momentum. You are not being pushed randomly. You are being positioned. Positioning often feels uncomfortable because it stretches you beyond what you have mastered. You have mastered survival. You have mastered patience. You have mastered waiting. Now you are being asked to master decision. And decision is powerful. There has been a quiet battle in your mind recently. A back and forth between doubt and conviction. One day you feel certain about the direction you should take. The next day you question everything. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that this mental tension is not weakness. It is the final resistance before clarity locks in. The enemy of elevation is hesitation. You have been analyzing every angle, calculating every outcome, trying to avoid mistakes. But growth is not sterile. It requires faith in motion. April 20th activates motion. The window opens, and you will feel it. It may come as a sudden opportunity, a clear realization, unexpected confirmation from someone you did not expect to hear from. And when it happens, your body will know before your mind catches up. There will be a sense of calm urgency, not panic, not chaos, just a clear knowing that this is the moment you were prepared for. That feeling is sacred. Do not talk yourself out of it. Archangel Michael stands in this season as a guardian of courage. His presence is not symbolic. It represents divine reinforcement around your choices. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. Protection surrounds obedience. There is also something important about timing. Many of you have tried to force change in the past. You played doors. You attempted conversations before they were right. You acted out of frustration rather than alignment. And the results felt heavy. That is not what is happening now. This time feels different because it is aligned. April 20th is not about forcing anything. It is about responding when alignment presents itself. The signs already placed in front of you were preparation so that you would not be shocked by what unfolds. You have been gradually acclimated to the idea of change. Notice how certain fears that once felt overwhelming now feel smaller. That is growth. And notice how certain dreams that once felt unrealistic now feel possible. That is expansion. These subtle shifts are evidence that you are ready. But readiness does not remove responsibility. There may be a conversation you need to initiate, a boundary you need to establish, a step you need to take even if others do not fully understand it yet. This is the difference between passive hope and active faith. Archangel Michael emphasizes that ignoring the signs at this stage would not bring peace. It would bring restlessness. You would feel it in your chest, in your sleep, in your thoughts, because your spirit already knows the direction. You had outgrown something, and outgrowing is not betrayal. It is maturity. Some of you are holding on to environments or relationships because you fear being misunderstood. But misunderstanding is temporary. Alignment is lasting. When April 20th arrives, truth surfaces in a way that clarifies intentions. You will see who celebrates your growth and who resists it. Pay attention to reactions. Those who are aligned with your destiny will feel inspired by your movement. Those who benefited from your hesitation may feel unsettled. Do not let that unsettle you. Growth changes dynamics. That is natural. There is also a creative or visionary idea that has been stirring inside you. Something you have not fully voiced. It feels bold, perhaps even risky. That idea is not random. It is connected to the noticeable change being spoken over your life. If you nurture it instead of dismissing it, it becomes a pathway. April 20th is not the end of something. It is the ignition of something. A noticeable shift in how you see yourself, how you choose, how you respond. And once that ignition happens, there is no returning to smaller thinking. You were not meant to stay where you are. You were meant to evolve. And evolution requires the courage to honor the signs already given. The atmosphere is aligning. The confirmations are increasing. The tension you feel is not chaos. It is contraction before expansion. Stay aware. Stay grounded. Stay willing. Because what unfolds next will confirm that this was not just a motivational message. It was a prophetic alert. And you are standing exactly where you need to be. Steady your heart, because what is forming now is bigger than a single moment. You may think April 20th is about one decision, one opportunity, one conversation. But Archangel Michael reveals that it is actually about identity. The external shift is only the surface. The deeper transformation is happening within you. For years, you have carried a version of yourself shaped by survival. You learned how to adapt, how to read runes carefully, how to stay silent when speaking felt risky, how to settle for partial fulfillment because it felt safer than uncertainty. That version of you was necessary for a season, but it is not the version that will carry you forward. April 20th signals identity elevation. This is why the signs placed in front of you have felt personal. They were not just about career or relationships. They were about how you see yourself. Every repeated nudge hath been challenging an old belief. Every subtle confirmation hath been inviting you to step into a higher self-concept. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to your growth. You did not arrive here accidentally. The lessons, the delays, the disappointments, they refined you. What once would have broken you now only strengthens your resolve. What once confused you now sharpens your discernment. And that sharpening is essential, because noticeable change requires noticeable confidence. You cannot step into a new level while thinking like the old version of yourself. That is why the internal tension has increased recently. Part of you is ready. Another part is afraid of leaving behind familiarity. That inner conflict is natural when identity shifts. But listen closely. The discomfort you feel is not warning you to stop. It is confirming that growth is occurring. There has also been a pattern in your life where you waited for external validation before moving. You looked for approval, reassurance, consensus. But April 20th is about internal authority. It is about trusting the clarity given to you without demanding that everyone else understand it first. Archangel Michael emphasizes that divine timing is precise. The reason this change is noticeable is because it is visible. It will not hide quietly in the background. It will show up in your decisions, your energy, your boundaries. People who know you will sense the shift immediately. Some will celebrate it. Others may question it. But neither reaction determines your path. What determines your path is whether you honor the signs already revealed. There is something important about repetition. Think about what has repeatedly surfaced in your mind. A location you keep thinking about. A project idea that refuses to fade. A conversation you know you must have. Repetition is heaven's way of saying, pay attention. You have been paying attention more than you realize. Notice how your tolerance for confusion has decreased. Notice how you feel uneasy when something does not align with your deeper values. This is growth. And growth changes standards. April 20th acts as a confirmation point. It is the day when internal decisions begin translating into external action. You may not even announce it publicly, but internally you will know that something has finalized. There is also an element of release attached to this transition. You cannot carry outdated narratives into a new season. The belief that you are not ready, the fear that you might fail, the thought that you are asking for too much. These narratives must be dismantled. Archangel Michael's presence represents protection during release. Letting go can feel vulnerable, but what you release creates space for what is aligned. And here is something you may not expect. The change may not initially appear dramatic. It might begin as a simple decision, a firm boundary, a confident yes or a peaceful no. But that small shift sets off a chain reaction. Opportunities adjust. Relationships recalibrate. Doors respond. Noticeable does not always mean loud. It means undeniable. You will feel lighter, clearer, more certain. And once that certainty anchors, you will wonder why you waited so long to trust yourself. The days leading up to April 20th are crucial. Observe your thoughts. When doubt whispers, counter it with awareness of the signs already given. When fear suggests delay, remember the confirmations you have received. You are not stepping into something reckless. You are stepping into something prepared. Archangel Michael is not announcing chaos. He is announcing alignment. And alignment often feels like relief after prolonged tension. Your life is about to change in a noticeable way. But the real miracle is not the change itself. It is the realization that you were always capable of stepping into it. What unfolds next will reveal how this shift impacts not only you, but the people connected to your journey. Stay attentive. The momentum is building steadily. Awakened soul, the atmosphere around you is tightening for a reason. As April 20th approaches, you may notice pressure increasing in subtle ways. Small misunderstandings, unexpected delays, sudden waves of doubt that seem to come out of nowhere. Do not misinterpret this. Archangel Michael reveals that resistance often intensifies right before release. This is the final test of your focus. When change's mere distractions multiply, it is not always dramatic chaos. Sometimes it is simply noise. More opinions, more advice, more internal questioning. You may find yourself overthinking simple decisions. You may feel tempted to postpone what you already know needs to be done. This is the moment where awareness protects you. The signs that were placed in front of you were never meant to confuse you. They were meant to ground you. But grounding requires discipline. If you allow every external voice to override your inner clarity, you will feel unstable. If you return to the quiet conviction that has been building inside you, you will feel steady again. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of mental clarity in this phase. Your mind is the battlefield now, not your circumstances. The battle is between trust and hesitation. And here is something powerful. You have already made the decision internally. Even if you have not acted yet, your spirit has chosen. That is why delay feels uncomfortable. That is why remaining in old patterns feels heavier than before. You are outgrowing your previous limits in real time. April 20th is the visible turning point, but the internal shift has already begun. There is also a lesson about courage in this season. Courage is not loud. It does not always look like dramatic action. Sometimes courage looks like consistency, like refusing to fall back into doubt after you have tasted clarity, like saying no when you once would have said yes just to avoid tension. Your noticeable change will not only be seen in what you pursue, it will be seen in what you no longer tolerate. That is growth. Some of you will face a conversation that feels uncomfortable but necessary. You will feel the urge to soften your truth to keep peace. But Archangel Michael urges you to remain respectful yet firm. The right people will adjust. The wrong alignments will reveal themselves. Do not fear revelation. Revelation is protection. There may also be a financial or professional shift that begins quietly. An idea that starts as a whisper becomes a strategy. A connection that once felt distant becomes accessible. Pay attention to opportunities that feel aligned rather than impressive. Alignment is more important than appearance. As the date approaches, you may also feel moments of emotional release. Old memories surfacing. Past disappointments replaying briefly. This is not regression. It is cleansing. You are shedding emotional weight so you can step forward lighter. Archangel Michael emphasizes that ignoring the signs now would feel unnatural to you, because you have already evolved beyond who you were when the signs first appeared. The version of you listening to this message is stronger, more aware, more discerning, and that awareness carries responsibility. If this message has been confirming what you already sensed, do not keep it silent. Engage with it. Share this message with someone who has been wrestling with doubt. Comment below what signs you have noticed in your own life. When you put your experience into words, you strengthen your conviction. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing circle of clarity and courage. Your participation is not passive. It is alignment in action. And trust this, what is coming next carries insight you will not want to miss. Hold your focus, because the revelation unfolding is building towards something powerful. There is momentum forming beneath the surface. April 20th is not a random highlight. It is the convergence point of lessons, confirmations, and preparation. The pressure you feel now is not punishment. It is compression before expansion. Imagine an arrow being pulled back. The tension increases before release. That tension is necessary to generate distance and speed. You are in that pullback moment. Do not panic during the tension. Trust the trajectory. Archangel Michael's presence in this message is not symbolic encouragement. It represents divine oversight, protection during transition, strength during decision, clarity during noise. Your life is about to change in a noticeable way, and the final resistance you feel now is only proof that movement is imminent. Stand steady. The release is closer than you think. Courageous one, what is happening now is the quiet separation between who you were and who you are becoming. As April 20th draws closer, the inner line is becoming clearer. You can feel it. There is a version of you that tolerated confusion, and there is a version of you that requires clarity. There is a version of you that waited for permission, and there is a version of you that moves with conviction. These two versions cannot coexist much longer. Archangel Michael reveals that this is the true meaning behind the noticeable change. It is not only about circumstances shifting around you. It is about the collapse of internal compromise. You are no longer willing to shrink to fit spaces that limit you. That realization alone is powerful. Over the past months, you have endured subtle disappointments that taught you discernment. You have experienced moments where you gave more than you received. You have remained patient in situations that felt one-sided. But those experiences were not wasted. They refined your standards. Now your standards are rising. April 20th acts as a spiritual checkpoint. It is the moment when your elevated standards begin to manifest in tangible decisions. You will notice yourself choosing differently, speaking differently, walking away from dynamics that once felt normal. And here is the surprising part. You will not feel anger when you release what no longer aligns. You will feel peace. That peace is confirmation. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this transformation because it required strength. You did not arrive here by accident. You wrestled with doubt. You questioned your worth. You analyzed every angle. But through it all, a quiet voice kept reminding you that you were meant for more. That voice is becoming louder now. There may be a specific person connected to this transition. Someone whose presence has felt uncertain or draining. Or perhaps someone new whose energy feels unexpectedly steady. Pay attention to how your body responds around them. Your nervous system is revealing alignment or misalignment. You no longer need loud evidence. Your discernment has matured. The signs placed in front of you were training your perception. Every subtle confirmation strengthened your intuition. Every repeated thought sharpened your clarity. You are not guessing anymore. You are recognizing. Recognition leads to action, and action leads to noticeable change. April 20th may not arrive with fireworks, but it will arrive with finality. There will be a moment, perhaps quiet and private, where you internally decide that you are done tolerating less than alignment. That internal decision will echo outward into your circumstances. There is also an element of restoration connected to this shift. Something you thought was lost may reappear in a healthier form, or a dream you placed on hold may return with stronger foundation. But restoration only occurs when boundaries are clear. Archangel Michael emphasizes that protection increases when obedience increases. The clearer you are about what aligns with your growth, the stronger the protection around your path. Some of you have feared being alone if you release certain attachments. But what you do not realize is that holding on to misalignment has already created a quiet loneliness. True connection begins when you stand fully in your truth. And truth is rising. The noticeable change others will see is confidence, not arrogance, not rebellion, just steady confidence. A refusal to downplay your needs. A willingness to choose environments that nourish rather than deplete you. This shift will influence more than your immediate circle. It will influence how opportunities approach you. When your standards rise, the quality of invitations changes. When your clarity sharpens, confusion has less access. You are stepping into a different frequency of decision-making. April 20th is the marker, but the transformation is already active. You may notice that certain conversations feel like closure. Certain interactions feel like completion. That is because cycles are ending quietly. Do not reopen what is closing naturally. Archangel Michael reveals that your hesitation in the past came from fear of regret. But the greater regret would be ignoring the signs that were lovingly placed before you. You have asked for guidance. You have prayed for clarity. You have sought confirmation. Now it is here. There is strength in you that you underestimated. Strength that developed in silence. Strength that grew through restraint. Strength that learned patience without losing hope. That strength will be visible after April 20th. People will notice your calm. They will sense that something has settled within you. Decisions that once took weeks will now take minutes. Doubts that once consumed you will dissolve quickly. This is the noticeable shift. and it begins with honoring what you already know. The next unfolding will reveal how this change positions you for opportunities that once felt out of reach. Stay aligned. Stay observant. Stay courageous. Because the separation between your old self and your rising self is nearly complete. Anointed listener, the veil is thinner now than it has ever been before. As April 20th stands at the door, you are not just approaching a date. You are approaching revelation. Archangel Michael is making it clear that what felt confusing for months is about to organize itself into understanding. Pieces that seemed scattered will suddenly form a pattern. And when you see that pattern, you will realize that nothing you experienced was wasted. Every delay trained your patience. Every disappointment refined your expectations. Every sign you almost ignored was actually building your discernment. Now discernment becomes your compass. There is something profound about this moment. You are no longer asking, "Why is this happening to me?" You are beginning to ask, "What is this preparing me for?" That shift in perspective is the true evidence of growth, and heaven responds to maturity. Archangel Michael reveals that April 20th is not only about personal clarity, but also about positioning. You are being placed strategically. A decision you make around this time connects you to a new environment, a new circle, or a new level of responsibility. It may not appear dramatic at first glance, but its long-term impact will be undeniable. This is why ignoring the signs would cost more than you realize. You have already sensed which direction feels expansive and which feels restrictive. You have already noticed which conversations leave you energized and which leave you drained. These observations were not random emotions. They were spiritual indicators. Indicators become instructions. The noticeable change others will see in you is composure. A steady confidence that does not need to argue. A calm authority that does not seek validation. When you stop questioning your own intuition, you naturally project certainty. And certainty changes outcomes. Some of you are about to step into an opportunity that once intimidated you. The only reason it intimidated you was because you were still negotiating your self-worth. But now your worth feels less negotiable. You understand that you bring value into rooms simply by showing up fully aligned. Archangel Michael stands beside those who step forward with integrity. Integrity is alignment between what you know and what you do. When April 20th arrives, integrity will require action. Perhaps it is sending a message you delayed. Perhaps it is applying for something you doubted. Perhaps it is releasing something you have outgrown. Whatever it is, you will know. There may also be a restoration of energy in your life. You have felt drained in recent months, not because you were weak, but because you were carrying misalignment. When misalignment falls away, energy returns naturally. You will feel lighter without needing external reasons to justify. That lightness is confirmation. Archangel Michael reveals that some of you will experience a subtle but powerful conversation around this time. It may be brief. It may not even seem monumental in a moment. But it will clarify direction. Listen carefully to what is said and what is not said. Silence sometimes reveals more than words. The days around April 20th are sacred. Treat them with awareness. Do not drown them in distraction. Create moments of quiet. Reflect on the signs you have received. Acknowledge the growth you have experienced. Gratitude strengthens alignment. And remember, noticeable change does not mean instant perfection. It means visible movement. It means you are no longer circling the same emotional lessons. It means your decisions begin reflecting your evolution. This is the crossing point. You have waited long enough for clarity. Now clarity waits for your response. Type "I receive the shift" in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit hath been sensing. Blessing code 2020 is now activated over your path of revelation and positioning. And as you step into this shift, understand that this message reaching you is not accidental. There are countless souls standing at their own threshold, unsure whether to move or remain stuck. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed placed through the link in the description, you are helping light pierce someone else's confusion. Scripture declares that when you sow generously, you reap generously, and this is not theory. It is a living principle activated by obedience. I hear this strongly. When I release my seed, I release clarity into the lives of others. The theme of this message is not ignoring the signs, and your act of giving can be the very sign someone else has been praying for. Do not treat this as a casual gesture. Treat it as sacred partnership with heaven's timing. There is urgency because destiny moments do not wait forever. As you give, I declare acceleration over your own path and divine positioning over your household. Press the super thanks button now. Join the membership and stand with this mission. Use the PayPal link below and sow your seed with faith. Move in obedience and watch how heaven responds to you. Steadfast spirit, you are standing at the edge of confirmation. By now, you have likely begun to sense that something is different. The atmosphere around your decisions feels charged. Conversations carry more weight. Even small choices seem to echo louder than before. This is not your imagination. Archangel Michael reveals that when divine timing converges with personal readiness, the environment responds. April 20th is that convergence point. But here is what many do not understand about noticeable change. It often begins quietly and then accelerates rapidly. The first shift may feel internal, almost invisible to others. A final decision made in your heart. A release of attachment. A commitment to honor your discernment. That internal agreement sets spiritual momentum into motion. Momentum is powerful. Once you align internally, external circumstances begin adjusting. Opportunities that were stagnant begin to move. People who were uncertain reveal their intention. Paths that once seemed blocked suddenly show openings. It may feel as if life is rearranging itself around your clarity. And in many ways, it is. Archangel Michael emphasizes that this shift is not accidental blessing. It is the result of preparation. You endured seasons that felt slow because you were being strengthened. You faced moments of confusion because discernment was being refined. You felt isolation at times because independence was being built within you. Now independence becomes authority. Authority does not mean control over others. It means control over your own direction. It means you no longer allow fear to dictate your choices. It means you recognize when something aligns and when it does not, and you act accordingly. This is the noticeable difference people see. There is also an emotional recalibration happening. You are no longer as reactive as you once were. Situations that previously triggered insecurity now invite reflection. You pause before responding. You observe before reacting. That pause is maturity, and maturity attracts higher-level opportunities. April 20th may bring a moment of clarity that feels almost surreal. You may think, was it really this simple? But simplicity does not mean insignificance. Sometimes the breakthrough is not dramatic because the real battle was internal. Archangel Michael reveals that some of you will experience validation around this time. Not necessarily loud applause, but subtle acknowledgement. A respected voice recognizing your growth. A door opening that confirms you were right to trust your intuition. That validation is not the goal, but it is encouragement. However, Be mindful. Not everyone will celebrate your shift. Some may feel unsettled because your clarity disrupts old dynamics. When you stop over-explaining yourself, it challenges those who benefited from your doubt. When you set boundaries calmly, it exposes where boundaries were lacking before. Do not interpret their discomfort as your mistake. Growth changes relationships. That is natural. There is also something sacred about your solitude in this season. You may feel the need for quiet reflection around April 20th. Honor that instinct. Silence will amplify clarity. Distraction will dull it. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian during this recalibration. Protection is strongest when you are aligned with truth. The more honest you are with yourself, the more stable your path becomes. And here is something crucial. The signs placed in front of you were not just about what to pursue. They were also about what to release. Pay attention to what feels complete, what feels finished, what no longer requires your energy. Completion is not failure. It is fulfillment of a cycle. When cycles close properly, new ones open cleanly. The noticeable change in your life will not only be seen in new beginnings, it will also be seen in peaceful endings. You will walk away from certain things without resentment. You will choose differently without drama. That quiet strength is transformation. April 20th marks the crossing point, but the days following it carry activation. Do not expect everything to happen in one instant. Expect alignment to begin unfolding steadily. Each decision made in clarity builds upon the last. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not unprepared. You are ready. Archangel Michael has not spoken this message lightly. Protection surrounds you. Guidance has been consistent. Confirmation hath been repeated. The only missing piece was your willingness to trust what you already knew. Now that trust is solidifying. Stand firm in it. Because what unfolds next will reveal how this alignment elevates not only your personal life but your influence as well. The shift is no longer approaching. It is here. Focused soul. This is where everything tightens into clarity. April 20th is no longer approaching in theory. It is pressing against your reality. And you can feel it. The subtle tension. The heightened awareness. The sense that something is about to finalize. Archangel Michael reveals that this phase is about decisive alignment. You have gathered enough signs. You have received enough confirmations. You have felt enough internal nudges. And now the question is no longer, is this real? The question is, will I move with it? There comes a point in every spiritual transition where analysis must give way to action. You have analyzed thoroughly. You have replayed scenarios in your mind. You have weighed risks and imagined outcomes. But clarity does not grow stronger through endless examination. It grows stronger through obedience. Obedience to what you already know. Archangel Michael emphasizes that noticeable change requires noticeable decisions. Small shifts in thinking are powerful, but they must translate into visible steps. Perhaps it is sending that application. Perhaps it is ending that draining cycle. Perhaps it is initiating a bold conversation. Whatever it is, you already feel it in your spirit. And here is something vital. Do not wait for perfect emotional confidence. Confidence grows through movement, not before it. If you wait until you feel completely fearless, you will delay unnecessarily. Courage is acting while your voice still trembles slightly. You are more prepared than you think. There is also a shift happening in your perception of risk. What once felt risky now feels necessary. What once felt safe now feels limiting. That reversal is evidence of growth. Archangel Michael reveals that your tolerance for mediocrity has expired. You cannot unknow what you now know. April 20th acts as a mirror. It reflects back to you the version of yourself you have been becoming quietly. When you look at your recent decisions, you will notice a pattern of increasing self-respect. You speak more directly. You tolerate less confusion. You choose more intentionally. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Some of you may receive unexpected communication around this time. A message, an invitation, or a response you had stopped anticipating. Pay attention not only to the words, but to the timing. Divine timing often carries confirmation within it. But remember, not every opportunity is meant for you. Alignment still matters. Just because something arrives does not mean it deserves acceptance. Use the discernment you have been developing. Ask yourself, does this support the person I am becoming? If the answer is no, have the strength to decline. If the answer is yes, step forward without apology. Archangel Michael stands in this moment as reinforcement. Protection does not mean the absence of challenge. It means the presence of strength. And strength has been growing within you consistently. If this message has been guiding you through this season, do not remain silent. Like this video so the message reaches others who are standing at their own threshold. Share it with someone who hath been doubting their next step. Comment below what decision you feel called to make. Your declaration strengthens your resolve. Subscribe to this channel and be part of this journey of clarity and courage. There is more unfolding, and what comes next will connect the final pieces in a way you will not expect. Stay attentive, because this is where alignment turns into acceleration. Acceleration is the next phase. Once April 20th activates your decision, events may begin moving faster than you anticipated. What felt stagnant could suddenly gain momentum. Conversations that were postponed could resolve quickly. Opportunities that lingered in uncertainty could solidify. Do not be startled by speed. Speed does not mean chaos when it is aligned. It means readiness meeting timing. There is also a deep emotional steadiness forming inside you. The kind that does not panic when circumstances shift. The kind that remains grounded even when others react emotionally. That steadiness is the true miracle of this season. Because once you master internal steadiness, external instability loses its power over you. Archangel Michael reveals that the noticeable change others will see is not just success or opportunity. It is composure. You will carry yourself differently. You will speak differently. You will decide differently. And people will notice. April 20th is not about becoming someone new. It is about finally embodying who you were always meant to be. Stand in it fully. The final unfolding will reveal how this transformation impacts your long-term direction in ways you have not yet imagined. Remain courageous. The acceleration has already begun. Watchful heart. You have crossed something invisible but irreversible. Whether April 20th has just passed or is unfolding within your present moment, you can sense it now. The tension that once felt overwhelming has shifted into clarity. The confusion that once clouded your decisions has thinned. Archangel Michael reveals that this is the stabilization phase. The decision has been made within you. Even if the external world is still catching up, internally something has locked into place. You are no longer negotiating with the old version of yourself. You are no longer debating whether you deserve alignment. That internal debate has ended. And that ending is powerful. Notice how you respond differently now. Situations that once would have pulled you into overthinking no longer have the same grip. You feel a calm certainty replacing anxious speculation. This is not coincidence. It is the fruit of honoring the signs that were placed before you. Archangel Michael emphasizes that many people reach moments of clarity but retreat because the responsibility of growth feels heavy. You did not retreat. Even if you hesitated briefly, you ultimately chose awareness over avoidance. That choice changed everything. There may still be conversations unfolding, adjustments taking shape, minor details resolving themselves. But the major shift has already occurred. You have aligned internally, and alignment reorganizes external reality over time. This is why patience is still necessary. Do not mistake gradual unfolding for lack of progress. Some transformations are immediate, others cascade. The noticeable change in your life may unfold in layers, each revealing deeper blessing. There is also something important about your voice in this new phase. You will feel less inclined to explain yourself excessively. Where you once felt pressure to justify your boundaries, you now simply state them. That simplicity reflects strength. Strength does not argue. It stands. Archangel Michael reveals that protection continues, but now it operates through discernment rather than warning. Before April 20th, you needed signs to wake you up. After April 20th, you operate from awareness naturally. You recognize misalignment faster. You adjust quicker. You trust your perception more deeply. That trust is sacred. There may also be a surprising peace regarding something you once feared losing. What once felt terrifying now feels manageable. You realize that your security was never in external structures but in internal stability. This realization frees you. Some of you will witness subtle but undeniable confirmation that you made the right choice. It could be a new opportunity appearing, a problematic situation dissolving without effort, or simply an internal sense of rightness that lingers consistently. Pay attention to these confirmations. They are reinforcement. Archangel Michael stands not only as protector but as witness. Witness to your courage. Witness to your growth. Witness to the moment you stopped ignoring the signs and started honoring them. And here is something beautiful. The noticeable change is not just affecting you. It is influencing those around you. When you choose alignment, you give others permission to do the same. Your clarity becomes contagious. Your confidence becomes inspiring. You may not even realize how many people are observing your transformation quietly, but they are. There is also a new responsibility attached to this level. Now that you recognize signs more clearly, you cannot pretend not to see them. Your discernment has matured. Your intuition has sharpened. You have crossed from confusion into awareness. Guard the awareness carefully. Do not slip back into old habits simply because they are familiar. Familiarity does not equal alignment. Continue choosing with intention. Continue listening inwardly before reacting outwardly. April 20th was not a finish line. It was a gateway. And now you are walking through it. Archangel Michael reveals that what lies ahead carries opportunity connected to purpose. Not just comfort. Not just convenience. Purpose. Something that feels meaningful, not merely impressive. You are ready for that. Because you no longer need external validation to feel worthy. You carry internal assurance. And internal assurance is unshakable. The final unfolding will reveal how this season closes with blessing and activation beyond what you expected. Stand steady in what you have become. The transformation is real, and it is only just beginning to reveal its full impact. Radiant soul, this is the completion of what began as a whisper and has now become a declaration. April 20th was never just a date. It was a dividing line between hesitation and embodiment. And now you can see it clearly. Your life is changing in a noticeable way. Not because luck found you, not because circumstances randomly improved, but because you chose not to ignore the signs that were placed in front of you. The choice altered your trajectory. Archangel Michael reveals that many people receive divine signals but dismiss them out of fear, distraction, or self-doubt. You stood at that same crossroads. You felt the tension. You wrestled with uncertainty. But ultimately, you lean toward awareness instead of avoidance. That is why the shift feels solid. Look at yourself now compared to where you were just weeks ago. Your thinking is clearer. Your boundaries are stronger. Your reactions are calmer. Even when challenges appear, you approach them with steadiness rather than panic. This is the noticeable change. And others see it. They may not understand what happened internally. They may not know about the silent battles you fought, but they sense the difference in your presence. You speak with grounded confidence. You decide without excessive explanation. You walk without shrinking. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this evolution. Protection surrounded you during the confusion. Strength carried you through the hesitation. And now authority rests on you in this new phase. Authority does not mean control over others. It means alignment within yourself. There is something powerful about the timing of this message reaching its completion. You are no longer asking for signs. You are recognizing them instantly. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are moving with conviction. You are no longer afraid of noticeable change. You welcome it. This is maturity. And maturity attracts higher-level responsibility and higher-level blessing. Some doors have already begun opening. Others are quietly unlocking. Opportunities that once felt distant now feel reachable. Conversations that once intimidated you now feel manageable. The internal shift created external movement. Never underestimate the power of inner agreement. Archangel Michael reveals that the next season of your life will require the same awareness you cultivated here. Do not fall asleep in comfort. Continue listening. Continue discerning. Continue honoring the quiet nudges that guide you forward. Because the principle remains the same. Noticeable change follows obedient awareness. There will be new signs in the future. New crossroads. New moments requiring courage. But now you know how to respond. You have experienced the reward of trusting your discernment, and that memory will strengthen you. Before this message closes, understand something deeply. You were not chosen randomly to hear this. You were positioned to receive it because you were ready to act on it. That readiness separated you from cycles that once held you back. Type "I walk in noticeable change" in the comments if you have felt this shift in your life. Blessing code 909 is now released over your continued alignment and protection. And as this prophetic journey completes, hear this clearly. The shift you experienced did not happen in isolation. There are thousands standing at their own April 20th moment, desperate for clarity, waiting for a sign not to ignore. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding content. You are releasing light into someone's darkness. Scripture declares that those who sow beside many waters will reap in due season, and this is God speaking directly into your obedience right now. I feel this strongly in my spirit. When I give, I partner with heaven's timing for another soul. The very theme of this message, "Do not ignore the signs," applies here. Your generosity can be the sign that keeps this word flowing across nations. This is not casual support. It is prophetic participation. As you sow, I declare increase over your household, protection over your path, and acceleration over your purpose. Press the super thanks button now. Join the membership and stand as a pillar in this mission. Use the PayPal link below and release your seed with bold faith. Act in alignment and watch heaven respond.